Many men over 60 don't realize that what's happening to their penis isn't simply normal aging. It's a warning sign, a clue that blood flow is slowing. Pelvic tissues are inflamed, and their manhood is slowly fading. You might notice it when morning erections aren't as strong, when intimacy becomes more difficult, or when you find yourself waking often at night to pee. But here's the truth no one talks about. There's a simple, natural solution that can restore what you believed was lost. Just mix castor oil with baking soda. I'm Dr. Flea, a urologist and men's health expert with 30+ years of experience helping older men reclaim strength, pleasure, and confidence. No drugs, no awkwardness, and no false promises. I understand. Castor oil and baking soda, how could that possibly do anything for your penis? But that's exactly why I want you to stay with me. Because this easy combination addresses every major cause of erectile problems: weak blood flow, swollen prostate tissue, stiffness, and toxin buildup in your groin. In this video, I'll walk you through how this blend works, why it can restore confidence and performance in just 7 days, and exactly how to use it safely. You're about to see what happens when two basic ingredients come together to give your body a new beginning. And by the time we're done, you'll understand why this might be the best-kept secret in men's health. Before we get into this powerful healing approach, make sure you've subscribed and turned on the bell so you never miss another natural health tip made just for men like you. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I'm always here to learn and support you better. Let's start with something most men don't realize, and it's the reason this castor oil and baking soda approach is so important. It's not just age that weakens your erections or reduces your sensitivity. It's what's going on inside your body. A silent, gradual decline in blood circulation, inflammation putting pressure on nerves, and a prostate that's not working the way it should. This is the first truth you need to understand, because once you do, everything else starts to make sense. 1. Why penile function drops after 60, and why this isn't your fault. I want to tell you something that might surprise you. If your erections aren't as strong as they once were, if your sensitivity seems dull, or if you wake during the night more often than you'd like, this is not your fault. And it's not just old age catching up with you. That explanation is too simple and frankly misleading. What's really going on is more complicated and much more hopeful, because once you understand it, you can begin to change it. You see, for decades, I've spoken with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, strong men, thoughtful men who felt ashamed. They thought something was broken in them, that they were losing their manhood, that they were somehow less of a man because they couldn't perform like they used to. I remember one gentleman, Raymond, who looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I feel like I've vanished down there." That moment hit me deeply. But I also knew it wasn't the end of the story, because I had seen men bounce back from this time and time again. The real reason your function declines comes down to blood flow, or more precisely, the gradual loss of it. As the years go by, the arteries responsible for bringing blood to your pelvic region grow stiff, narrower, and less responsive. And your penis relies on healthy circulation more than nearly any other part of the body. Without it, sensitivity decreases, firmness weakens, and responsiveness slows down. It's not your hormones, it's not your drive, it's your blood. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. There's also inflammation, especially near the prostate, which adds pressure on the surrounding nerves and blood vessels. This not only affects your ability to get or maintain an erection, it also causes that frequent nighttime urge to urinate, interrupting your sleep and draining your energy. When the lower pelvis becomes inflamed and backed up, it's like running a car engine with clogged fuel lines. Then comes stagnation. After 60, a lot of men move less, sit more, and unknowingly trap toxins and lymphatic waste in the groin. Your body's natural detox process slows down, blood circulation weakens, and tissue no longer gets the oxygen it needs. Over time, this internal congestion shows up as fatigue, low arousal, numbness, and emotional detachment. But here's the hopeful part. Once you realize the issue isn't just age-induced congestion, inflammation, and poor blood flow, you can do something about it. Not with pills, not with tricks, but with something as natural and straightforward as castor oil and baking soda. Because the truth is, castor oil has a surprising ability to restore healthy blood flow. And when it's paired with baking soda, the effects are even more potent. But to truly understand why this works, we need to take a closer look at what makes castor oil so special and how it supports male vitality on a cellular level. You're about to learn something that most doctors never mention. 2. Castor oil, the circulation warrior for the male body. When I was first introduced to castor oil in medical school, it was nothing more than a passing note, just an old remedy, something tucked away in grandma's kitchen. But years later, as I focused my practice on men's sexual health, I began to revisit these time-tested treatments with a fresh perspective, and what I discovered in castor oil left me amazed. Not because it's trendy, or exotic, or expensive, but because it works. And it works in ways that conventional medicine often fails to explore. The thing that makes castor oil unique is this: it penetrates. While most oils stay on the surface of the skin, castor oil moves through the tissue layers. It doesn't just warm the skin, it travels deep, delivering anti-inflammatory and circulation-enhancing compounds straight into the areas where men need them most. And that's exactly what gives it such potency for men over 60, especially in restoring blood flow and function throughout the pelvic area. I recall working with a man named Walter, age 74, who had been dealing with weak erections and almost complete loss of sensation for over 2 years. He had tried various supplements, even thought about injections, but nothing truly made a difference. We started with something simple: castor oil packs, applied gently to the lower abdomen and groin. 2 weeks later, he walked into my office with tears in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "it's like something turned back on. That's the power of circulation. And castor oil does more than just help blood reach the right places. It also activates the lymphatic system, which plays a key role in clearing out waste and reducing swelling. This is especially important for older men, because over time the lower pelvis becomes a kind of dumping zone for toxins and leftover metabolic waste. Castor oil stimulates fluid movement through this area, helping flush out stagnation and restore life to tissues that have gone too long without oxygen and nutrients. And this isn't only about physical performance. It's about feeling truly alive again. Castor oil stirs something deeper. It brings back a sense of connection to your own body. Some men say they feel a gentle warmth. Others notice the return of sensations they thought were gone for good. It's biology awakened by nature. And best of all, it's gentle, non-invasive, doesn't conflict with your prescriptions, and requires no doctor's note. You apply it with care, with purpose, and you allow it to do what it has done for generations: breathe life back into places where it had faded. But castor oil alone isn't the whole picture. When it's paired with the right companion, something that can neutralize acid, balance pH, and dissolve toughened tissue, transformation becomes even more noticeable. That's where baking soda plays its role. And believe me, it's not just for your fridge or dental routine. What it does for the male body might surprise you more than anything else we've discussed so far. 3. Baking soda, the detox agent that softens rigid tissue and clears out blockages. Most people only associate baking soda with kitchen use, maybe for keeping things fresh in the refrigerator. But inside the aging male body, it takes on an entirely different role. It becomes a natural healer, a gentle force that breaks down years of buildup, acid, rigidity, and harmful residue that have slowly stolen strength and feeling from your manhood. I think of one patient, Ronald, 68, who lived cleanly and with discipline. Still, his erections were weak, his groin felt tight and weighed down, and he often described an inner sensation of being blocked. We ran every test imaginable. His hormones were normal, his blood sugar was under control. Then I asked him something most doctors never think to ask. Have you ever considered using baking soda topically instead of just internally? His puzzled look said it all. What many don't realize is that baking soda does more than balance pH. It neutralizes acid that accumulates in tissues, especially in areas with poor blood flow, like the lower pelvis. When acid builds up, it creates the perfect conditions for inflammation to thrive. Over time, this hardens soft tissues, narrows blood vessels, and makes healing much harder for the body. That's one reason so many older men feel numbness or swelling in that area, because under the surface, their tissues are losing a slow battle with chemical stress. But when applied the right way, especially combined with castor oil, baking soda softens stiffness, releases tension, and opens pathways that have been clogged for years. It's almost like giving your body another chance to breathe. Ronald followed a basic routine. He stirred a small amount of baking soda into warm castor oil, gently applied the mixture across his lower abdomen and inner thighs, then covered the area with a warm cloth. After just 4 uses, he told me, "I felt a warmth I haven't had since I was 40. And the following week, he returned with a smile and said, "Doc, I woke up with morning wood for the first time in 6 years. That wasn't magic. It was chemistry." His body finally had the right conditions to begin healing. But what's truly remarkable is how castor oil and baking soda don't just work separately, they work better together. Each one amplifies the other's effect, helping the body respond more quickly, reach deeper tissues, and show results that often appear within days. It's not an instant fix, but for men willing to be consistent, it can feel like time is reversing. And this simple combination is only the beginning, because how you apply it when, where, and with what care can be the difference between slight relief and a real return of feeling and function. Let me guide you on exactly how to use this method to unlock its full benefits. You'll want to pay close attention. 4. How to apply the castor oil and baking soda method for maximum blood flow and sensation. This is the moment where things shift, not in theory, but in action. Because now that you know what castor oil and baking soda can do individually, the real effect happens when you use them together with purpose, consistency, and full presence. I'm not asking you to believe in a miracle. I'm inviting you to feel something for yourself, something your body may have been needing for years. Let me walk you through the process. This is the same approach I've taught to many older men, most of whom thought they'd already tried everything. What makes this special isn't just its power, but how gentle, grounding, and restorative the experience can be. Start with a warm, clean cloth. Mix 1 teaspoon of castor oil with a small amount, about half a teaspoon of baking soda. Stir until it forms a smooth blend. Gently warm the mixture if you'd like, either by placing it in a bowl of warm water or simply holding it in your palms. Then, during a quiet moment, no rushing, no distractions, begin applying the blend across the lower abdomen, inner thighs, and the base of the groin. These are the zones where blood flow to the penis begins. These are your body's power lines, and they must stay open. Massage gently using circular motions, not with force, not hurried. This isn't about pressure. It's about reawakening the tissue, stimulating circulation, and sending a message to your nervous system that it's safe to open again. If you prefer, you can lay a warm towel over the area for 20 to 30 minutes. The heat supports deeper penetration of the castor oil, while the baking soda begins to dissolve the hardened tissue that's dulled your sensitivity over time. Some men feel a tingling warmth within just a few days. Others notice they're sleeping more soundly. Some even find themselves waking up fewer times at night to use the bathroom. But the feedback I hear most often is, "I feel something again." That's where the restoration begins, not just in your body, but in your mind. Because when a man reconnects with his body, even in the smallest way, something changes. And here's the important part: this isn't a one-time fix. What matters most is consistency. Even applying this just 3 times a week can lead to meaningful results. You're not just using a remedy, you're reviving a ritual. You're reminding your body that it still deserves care, attention, and vitality. But what if you could take it even further? What if there were specific acupressure spots you could press while applying this blend that would supercharge blood flow and activate nerves that have gone silent? In the next part, I'll walk you through 3 overlooked techniques that most men have never been told about, and they could be the missing piece in restoring full function. 5. The forgotten pressure points that boost male circulation instantly. Sometimes, the answers we're looking for aren't hidden in medication or medical procedures, but right in our own hands. Over the years, as I've worked with older men who are trying to regain their strength, sensation, and connection, I've learned something remarkable. The body holds its own wisdom. Small switches, when triggered properly, can awaken blood flow and energy in ways that modern science is only beginning to understand. And the best part is, you already have access to them. You've just never been taught how to use them. Let me tell you about George, a 79-year-old widower who came to me not only for help with performance, but for something deeper. He said, "I don't want to feel invisible anymore." His voice shook, We didn't talk about prescriptions, we talked about connection. I showed him 3 basic pressure points that, when engaged while applying the castor oil and baking soda blend, could help stimulate circulation, soothe the nervous system, and return feeling to areas that had been quiet for years. The first one is found right at the base of the wrist, in the soft hollow between 2 tendons. It's known in Chinese medicine as the heart 7 point. When gently pressed for about 60 seconds, it helps ease stress, slow the heartbeat, and expand blood vessels. The second point lies along the inner thigh, about 4 finger widths away from the crease of the groin. Applying pressure here enhances pelvic circulation and helps clear lymphatic buildup. The third, possibly the most impactful, sits between the big toe and second toe right, where they meet the top of the foot, referred to as liver 3. This spot supports better circulation and energy tied to testosterone. You don't need special training to use these points. Just your fingertips, your breathing, and a few quiet moments. When George began adding this to his practice, he didn't expect much. But 2 weeks later, he called me and something in his voice had changed. It sounded stronger, lighter, more alive. "Doc," he told me, "for the first time in years, I woke up feeling like myself again. These points aren't magic. They're proof that your body still knows how to respond, that age hasn't taken everything, and that there's still something powerful waiting to be reawakened. But if you really want to go deeper, if you're serious about reviving not just blood flow, but overall vitality, then what you eat in the hours after using this method matters more than you realize. Certain foods can lock in the progress, support firmer erections, and speed up your recovery. But others, they can quietly undo everything you just worked for. What ends up on your plate could either push you forward or pull you backward. Let's take a closer look at that. 6. The foods that make or break your results after applying this blend. There's a window of time after you use the castor oil and baking soda blend, after you've massaged it in, maybe done the pressure points, where your body is open, relaxed, with expanded blood vessels, softened tissues, and heightened receptivity. And it's in that moment that your food choices matter most. Let me put it another way. You've just cleared the path. You've opened up space for healing and circulation. Now imagine cleaning out a fresh river, only to throw trash into the upstream flow. That's what happens when the wrong foods follow the right steps. I've seen so many older men do the right things, massaging, cleansing, applying with care, only to reverse it all with the wrong fuel. Let me tell you about Bill, 72, a retired firefighter, tough, determined, but worn down. He was following the method closely. "I can feel warmth coming back," he told me. "But something's not right. It's like I move forward, then slide back." I asked him to track what he was eating for 1 week, and there it was. White bread, processed meats, cheese, soda. No color, no freshness, just sugar, salt, and heavy sludge. I helped him pivot. Nothing extreme, just food that served a purpose. A glass of beet juice after each session to saturate the area with nitric oxide. Half an avocado for the healthy fats that nourish your hormones. A small bowl of steamed spinach drizzled with olive oil and sautéed garlicone, of the most effective natural softeners for arteries I know. And a square of dark chocolate. Yes, real cacao. Because it boosts nitric oxide and supports male performance more than most men ever realize. After just 1 week, Bill felt something change. It wasn't just improvement down there. He was waking earlier, walking farther, even joking around and flirting again. "I thought I was done," he said. "Now I'm planning a weekend getaway with my high school sweetheart." That's what happens when you finally give your body what it's been craving. After opening up with the castor oil and baking soda method, you've cleared the way. But it's the right foods that keep that pathway open. They reinforce the progress. They tell your body, "I'm serious about healing." And just like nutrition can help or hurt, so can your mindset. Because the next part of healing isn't about the body at all. It's about what you believe about yourself, your worth, and whether you still have something left to live for. No method will succeed if, deep down, you don't believe you matter. And that's what we're going to unlock now. The mental shift that can change everything. 7. The mindset shift that reactivates your manhood. Most men over 60 have no idea, but the greatest barrier to healing isn't physical. It's not your blood flow or your hormone levels. It's what you whisper to yourself each morning in front of the mirror. That quiet, resigned thought. This is just what happens at my age, becomes a quiet permission slip to let things fade. And I want to challenge that right here, not with false promises, but with truth. I've sat across from countless men strong, hardworking, loyal men who had come to believe they were no longer wanted, that the best chapters of their lives were already behind them. The pain they felt wasn't just about performance, it was about identity, about what it means to still feel like a man when your body no longer responds as it once did. And here's what I've learned that might surprise you. The body listens closely to what the mind believes. I remember Frank, 67, a prostate cancer survivor. He had done everything, every treatment, every instruction. He told me, "Doc, I'm physically fine, but I don't feel like a man anymore." That hit me hard. So instead of more medication, I gave him something simple. Each time he applied the castor oil and baking soda blend, I asked him to place a hand on his chest and say, "I still matter. My story isn't over." At first, he felt silly. But as the weeks passed, something began to shift. Not just in his physical response, but in his eyes, his posture, and how he spoke about himself. "I feel alive again," he said. "Not because everything's perfect, but because I stopped treating myself like I was already gone." The truth is, your body reacts to intention. When you approach healing not from fear but from belief, something inside reignites. You move differently. You begin to carry yourself with a quiet sense of pride again. And yes, this shift affects circulation, hormone activity, and performance. Science supports it. But more than that, so do the real-life stories of men who chose not to give up on themselves. So I'll ask you this, what are you choosing to believe about your manhood today? Are you holding back, waiting to feel strong before you act like it? Or are you willing to act like it now and allow the strength to follow? Because here's the truth most doctors never say out loud. Your body is listening. And every word, every move, every belief is either fueling your fire or slowly dimming it. But belief on its own won't be enough. You need rhythm. You need a simple daily practice that transforms everything you've learned into something you actually live. You've come this far. Now let me guide you through a 7-day plan that could shift everything. What happens next might just surprise you. 8. The 7-day routine that brings it all together. If you've stayed with me this long, it's clear you're not just curious, you're committed. That alone says a lot. You're not someone who quietly accepts decline. You're looking for renewal, for a way forward. And now that you know how castor oil and baking soda work, why your mindset matters, and which foods reinforce the healing, you're ready to bring it all into a steady rhythm. Because let's be real, most older men don't fail because they don't care. They fail because they never build a habit out of what they've learned. That's the difference maker. Taking this insight and turning it into a consistent pattern your body can count on. Here's what I tell the men I work with. Each evening, create space to slow down. Don't rush. Don't treat this as another task. Make it a ritual. Warm up a tablespoon of organic castor oil. Add in a pinch of baking soda, stirring until the mixture is smooth and slightly thick. Then apply it gently to your lower abdomen and pubic area. This is where blood flow, nerve function, and prostate health intersect. Use calm circular strokes. Let your hand be steady but gentle. This moment is about more than just applying oil. It's a way to reintroduce your attention to a part of your body that may have gone unnoticed. You'd be surprised how many men haven't touched this area without frustration or necessity in years. But now, with this blend, you're showing your body that this is about care, not shame, not judgment. Once the mixture is on, lie back for 10 to 15 minutes. Allow the warmth to settle. Allow your nervous system to unwind. No phone, no noise, just stillness. If you want to deepen the effect, use a warm compress to enhance absorption. But even without it, the blend will do what it needs to do. Right after that, not later, not hours after, but right after, give your body the fuel it needs. A small serving of spinach or beetroot, a hard-boiled egg, or a glass of pomegranate juice. These aren't exotic superfoods. They're trusted allies of circulation. Think of them as fuel feeding the fire you've just ignited. Repeat this simple process each evening for 7 days. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even into their 80s begin to feel a spark they thought had faded for good. A little more fullness in the mornings, a stronger urine stream, fewer times waking at night, and a renewed sense of confidence. It doesn't all change at once, but the journey starts right here. And the best part is this: the more you keep showing up for yourself, the more your body shifts from expecting decline to expecting healing. That's the deeper transformation, not just in performance, but in how you see yourself. But what then? What happens when those 7 days are over? That's when we begin to unlock something even greater, and I'll show you how to move from short-term change to long-lasting renewal. 9. What to expect after 7, 14, and 30 days. Now let's look at what actually unfolds when you stay with the process. Not just one night, but a full week, 2 weeks, and beyond, because I understand how uncertain the early stages can feel. You apply the castor oil and baking soda. You clean up your meals. You shift your thinking. Then you wait and wonder, is this really helping, or am I just imagining progress? Let me guide you through what most of my patients begin to notice and what you may experience too. If you stay consistent, by day 7, the first thing you'll likely sense is warmth. Not just from the topical blend, but from within, a quiet sense of something reawakening. Maybe you wake up with a hint of fullness down there, a familiar feeling you hadn't had in years. It's not flashy, it's not dramatic, but it's real. That's blood flow returning. Others share that they sleep more deeply, visit the bathroom less during the night, and feel a calmness that's been absent for a long time. That's your nervous system beginning to relax. That's your body remembering what it once knew. By day 14, those changes deepen. You might feel a lightness in the pelvic region. That familiar tightness or dull pressure you'd come to accept, it starts to ease. Erections may feel stronger, even without full stimulation. Moments of spontaneity, something you thought was gone, begin to show up again. And here's something beautiful. Many men start wanting to care for themselves in other ways. They take walks more often, eat with more intention, and begin to carry themselves with quiet confidence. By day 30, something more meaningful takes root. You stop thinking of this as a method and begin to feel it as part of who you are. The healing becomes integrated. Blood vessels that had tightened start to open again. Nerve signals that were faint begin to reconnect. Hormones, once flat, begin shifting in ways that support your manhood once more. And most importantly, a new kind of trust forms between you and your body. I recall Robert, a man in his 70s, who told me after 30 days, "It's not just that things are working again. It's that I feel like myself again. My wife sees it. My walk has changed. Even my handshake feels firmer." That's the kind of transformation we're really talking about. Not just physical performance, but full body renewal. And yes, it all started with a simple blend that most people overlook. But this is where things get even more interesting. Because after 30 days, that's when the deeper transformation begins. When your body has been prepped and you're ready to introduce one final secret that takes it all to the next level, a method quietly used for generations. It's now backed by modern science. And odds are, it's already sitting in your kitchen, waiting, ready to discover what it is. 10. The final ingredient hiding in your kitchen. After staying consistent for 30 days, something powerful begins to unfold. Your body isn't just reacting anymore, it's remembering. It's beginning to truly repair. The castor oil and baking soda blend, the nourishing food, the breathing, the mind settle of it created a strong foundation. But now, it's time to add one more layer. And believe it or not, that next step is likely right there in your pantry, quietly waiting to be recognized. It's apple cider vinegar. Yes, that slightly cloudy bottle most people only use occasionally for salad dressings or to help with digestion. But when used intentionally alongside this healing routine, it transforms into something greater. It becomes an activatora connector between the systems within your body. I know that might sound surprising, but hear me out. Just a few drops in warm water before your nightly castor oil and baking soda practice can make a world of difference. Apple cider vinegar helps balance your internal pH levels. That small shift eases inflammation, boosts your liver's natural detox ability, and enhances how you absorb essential minerals. But here's what really sets it apart. It increases nitric oxide production. That's the very molecule responsible for enhancing blood flow, especially to the penis. And for older men, this is often the missing link. It supports and deepens everything else you're already doing. It intensifies the effects. As one of my patients put it, it's like someone turned up the volume on my whole body, and I'd say he's exactly right. Within just 1 week of adding apple cider vinegar to their nightly practice, many men report stronger erections, more restful sleep, increased morning energy, and even clearer focus. One man told me, "This is the first time in years I've felt truly alive again." But the most important thing about this final step isn't just what it does for your body, it's what it represents. It's a signal, a quiet message to yourself that you're still open, still curious, still willing to grow. And that mindset changes everything. It tells your body, "I'm not done yet, I'm just beginning." With this last piece in place, you're no longer just doing a routine, you've created something meaningful. A ritual, a personal pathway toward renewal. A blend of science, tradition, and dignity that honors not only your age, but your health, your vitality, and your future. But what comes next? What happens when you keep moving forward, not just for 7 days, not just for 30, but for the long haul? That's what we'll explore next, because the conclusion to all this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something far greater. And in just a moment, I'll show you what's truly possible when you decide to trust in this simple practice and believe in what's still ahead. Conclusion: your new beginning starts now. Here we are. You've followed a path that most men never think to take, a path built not on pills or quick fixes, but on knowledge, tradition, and the courage to try something different. From the ancient healing touch of castor oil to the balancing strength of baking soda, from restoring blood flow to rewiring your nervous system, and finally, that humble bottle of apple cider vinegar quietly tying everything together. Each part has helped lay the foundation beneath your feet. This isn't just about your penis. It's about how you feel when you open your eyes each day. It's about the confidence in your reflection. It's about how you show up for your partner, your family, and most of all for yourself. I've seen it more times than I can count. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, realizing they're not finished, that their body still has stories to tell, passion to give, and strength to offer. I'm not speaking from textbooks. I'm talking as a doctor who sat across from men like you, frustrated, tired, but not ready to give up. And here's what I've learned. The ones who follow this simple routine don't just notice physical changes, they rediscover something more: quiet confidence, a fire that returns. So don't just listen, take action, because this isn't where your story ends. It's where a stronger, sharper, more vibrant chapter begins. You deserve this. Now go reclaim it. If this spoke to you, don't stay quiet. Smash that like button, send it to a buddy who needs it, and drop a comment below to share your story. And if you want more videos like this for men over 60, consider giving a small donation. Every bit keeps this mission going. You matter. Your health matters. Let's move forward together.